Rocco Martone, there is no cold open question here, buddy. We're getting right into this fucking build. I am all about this feud. I think these girls are kicking ass. I love the structure that they have presented in this build based around two monumental characters, one being at the top of the mountain right now and being the irresistible force, not Nia Jax, but like the irresistible force of like not even being touched within the last year. And then the man, Becky Lynch, who had a different rise to the top, but is somewhat down the bottom of the hill. This is what I really like about this build. To herself, Becky knows that she's not ready to overtake that mountain because that mountain is much bigger and much more powerful than when she was up there. So mentally, she has to build herself up to get back at the top of that mountain. Physically, she's going through all these different women to kind of physically get ready for that brutality, no pun intended, that Rhea Ripley is going to. And it's a very unconventional way to build a WrestleMania match, but I'm totally into it because these girls are established stars and they're on different journeys. And this is a mega match, and it should feel special for the first time for them touching. And I believe it is, Rocco.
Well, I mean, it's something I agree with you totally, man. And it's like a tale of the oldest time. Like it's Rocky 1. It's like Rhea, the young upstart, Becky, the veteran, and like the way they even with that promo on Monday, which where it's like you said, Beck has been there, but like Rhea's young, right? So she's like Becky's a mother. Rhea's running around with her fuck toy dom and shit like that. Rhea has everything on a silver platter, but Becky is hardworking, right? She's scrappy. Rhea is like a fucking super athlete. She's the young super athlete. She's coming up. Becky kicked down all these doors that Rhea is just walking through. So there's a chip on Becky's shoulder. You know what I mean? Like of like you are just running around. You don't know what it's like to be the breadwinner. Like Becky is putting the classic thing of like putting food on the table. You don't really get a woman saying that very often now, which is really cool that Becky could actually be like, you're not taking it seriously. You're hanging out with your boys, you're hanging out with your fuck toy. This is real for me. I'm a mother. She lost time for an injury, she lost time for pregnancy. She knows that her time is limited, like you said, on the other side of the mountain. And this young upstart super athlete is coming, that it's such a great story. And like you said, the year of Becky going through everyone. It's like Mike Tyson's punch out. Right? She's just been battling and battling and battling, and now she's getting the big fucking boss, right? And it's such a cool build. Like this is almost like Angle Brock too. Like she's Rhea's Brock and Becky's Angle in like a 2003. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's so many great parallels to just classic storytelling, and it hasn't really been done on this scale for the women or these two characters at least. So I love it too, man. I've been so into it.
Yeah, and the best part about it is Becky knows. She knows mentally that she wasn't there. And then she knows physically that she's not mentally ready, take on Rhea. So she's putting herself through the rigors if it's NXT, if it's Liv Morgan, awesome match, by the way, a few weeks ago. And then the 3-match series with Nia Jax, fucking really good. You know what I mean? Kudos to Nia Jax, but seriously, kudos to Becky. She still got it, of course.
Yeah, and like really good matches, but also in the canon of WWE, Nia is a fucking monster. She's putting herself up against the biggest chick in the division, and that's going to take your toll. So she's really punishing herself and going through the ringer to prove to herself and to everyone else that she still has it. But like we said, like she's older. Like when you're an athlete, your fastball goes away, so you have to start your changeup. You have to do other stuff. For me as a singer in a band, like I can't do the things physically I can, but I know how to do other parts better than I ever could. And that's the thing about getting older is you're smarter, but you don't have all the tools you had when you're young. And Rhea has all those tools that I think Becky never even had. Becky always was the Arn Anderson, like not the Sting who just was born jacked, so it's really cool in that way too. And Becky, it's like tearing through like just going and going and going, and just
That's been her whole year.
Yeah, like it's such a cool story, and going down and elevating people up to her level on this journey to WrestleMania main eventing, right?
So look at Becky since WrestleMania 39. Pretty much the night after WrestleMania 39, she was turned on by a legend in Trish Stratus, right? So she's like, I'm not going to go that route here. So she had her feud with Trish Stratus, and it lasts pretty much all summer with In and Out, and then she has that awesome blow-off match in the steel cage. And then she goes directly to NXT, works with Lyra, works with Indy, works with Tiffany Stratton twice, having 2 fantastic matches, goes and accomplishes something that she's never done before, and that makes herself more mentally smart getting ready for what she wants to get back at WrestleMania 40 because she was in the mid card at WrestleMania 39. So she goes and proves to herself that she still got it and goes to NXT and does something she never did. So she goes through the rigors there,
She can
and
still win a
then
belt. She can still win a
yep,
championship, right?
yep, she does that for 2-3 months or whatever, heads back to Monday Night Raw, and then Nia Jax is in her way. Nia Jax is comparable to Rhea Ripley, she would think, so she wants to challenge herself. And in the past, she has had some vulnerability with Nia Jax because she broke her fucking face, and they played into that. So she's building up her acumen of strength in her mind to get ready for this mountain she has to take over again. So she fails with Nia Jax on day one. And then she fails at the Royal Rumble, and she's not even close. She's eliminated 7th, 8th to last. And she's not even, you don't even remember in the Royal Rumble, let's be frank. You don't.
No,
And
I
that was
agree.
done on purpose, right? So then she knows she has one more chance, and she has to qualify for the Elimination Chamber. And then there's this little plucky bitch that she's conquered in the past who's got an edge too that she sees maybe herself in Liv Morgan. So she's like, I have to conquer her, and I need to show Rhea that I still got it. So she goes, conquers perhaps her younger self in Liv Morgan, and then she takes down Nia Jax, and then she takes her down again in the last woman standing, and now she is physically and mentally, emotionally ready for this WrestleMania match, and she qualifies in the Elimination Chamber on top of all of that. So if you can storyline Becky Lynch's year through this, she's totally ready. She's probably the strongest she's been in the longest time.
Yeah, you figure like she had to get the Nia the offer back, the monkey offer back. She had to get that done before this next step. Like she knew that was lingering over. She never got her comeuppance, right? She never
Yeah.
fucking finished even the score. And I like the thing with Liv too. It's almost kind of like with getting the Rumble too, like you said, it's on purpose. Like it's almost like Shawn getting thrown out that one Rumble
In
when he was tossed out,
2010, yeah.
right?
Oh,
It's almost the
yeah.
same kind of thing where it's like, fuck, it's like then she couldn't just call her shot. She had to prove her worth to get to having the match, you know. So it's even cooler to think it's like it's going through personal obstacles and having to keep building and building to be a main eventer, right?
Yep. And then you take a look at Rhea Ripley, right? She won the championship at WrestleMania 39. I'm sure Becky would look at that in a character aspect and be like, damn, that should be me. I'm in the mid card. And Rhea Ripley just really has a handful of matches since then, so to speak. She's perhaps on the Roman Reigns schedule, but on Monday Night Raw every week. And she's working on her star power within the Judgment Day. She's working on her aura. She's working on being a top generational talent, not the present. You know what I mean? So she's looking at mountains past this mountain. So it's like, could we be looking at the New England Patriots in 2018 who are 17-0, 18-0, and they know that they're all right because 19-0 is just going to be a cakewalk with this old veteran team from New York that Eli Manning got out of here, whatever. And they just walk into the Super Bowl and they lay an egg. Could we be looking at a scenario like that where the New York Giants, Becky Lynch, grinded? Tom Coughlin's been there. He's done that. He knows what it takes to win, and he knows his team's a little flawed and old. But if he saves his energy and he presents his strategy at the right time of the season, they can go attack that mega team of the New England Patriots. So I think that's just a little sports parallel there, unfortunately. Patriots.
No, you're right, because it's like I said before, like the youth. Becky's never been more humble in her character, and Rhea's never been more arrogant in her character. Rhea is on top of the world, untouchable, insulated by by the Judgment Day, insulated by her title, insulated by just being a massive star. Well, Becky is still trying so hard, and is Rhea going to overlook it? You know, as a young person, like youth is wasted on the young. Like this is very much a young versus old story, and this is like things given to you and things earned kind of a way. I'm not talking about in real life. I'm talking about the characters on the screen where like this super athlete Rhea just is on top of the world, you know, just going to Perth, having a pay-per-view almost made for her, you know what I mean? So like Becky didn't have a fucking a pay-per-view in Ireland, like, you know what I mean? So it's like it's such a cool thing. And is that what's going to cost? Is that going to be the story of youth versus smarts versus callous youth, hubris versus humility, right?
Yeah, because you would think that Rhea Ripley kinda should win this match, right? But they've done a good job of painting that picture for Becky Lynch, and they've done a good job of a fallout picture for Rhea Ripley.
I mean, no one really can lose in this match, I think, however it plays out. There's so many
Yeah,
cool ways it can ramify into other things, character changes, elevations, new feuds, and everything. Like it's really cool where it could go from here. And like you said, not touching, it's still fresh, it's still new. So a rematch wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, right? But the dynamic will change after we see how each person handles the match and handles winning or losing the match too.
because if this was 2 years ago in the old regime, this would be the mommy versus the man, and it's the billboard, and that's all that matters. They have a stare off, and then they have some non-organic, rumblings, and like, there's beef, and there's security guards, and there's no fucking substance. But now, there's a lot of substance too, and it's all based on their insecurities, or their unknown, or their unable to see insecurities that these characters have gone through.
They're based on
So,
human attributes. Like
yes,
they're not superheroes. They are human people with the things that we can all identify with. As a father, and Becky was talking on Monday, I was like, damn, like, like that is like a thing that when I was a young man, I would probably say stuff about people's kids and be an arrogant asshole. Now
yep.
as a father, I'm like, that does cut to the bone. And I would be fucking defensive. And I would look at this young person as trying to take something from that child, not just from me.
And as we get here on the go home, well, the go home for us, anyways, pretty much all that stuff I laid out, and we haven't gotten to the big angle. Rhea Ripley saying that she should be offended that Becky was on this journey, so to speak, and ignoring her. And Rhea could have went out there and taken her out when she's 80% into the match and she's vulnerable, but she respected her. But respect is over because she doesn't respect me because she's not paying a pension to me. I'm mommy, I'm the best. Mommy's always on top, so on and so forth. And the key line there, or the key figure there, was making sure Dominic was with her. So the fans were against her, and Becky would be able to come out, be presented as the man, the top baby face potentially, and having the crowd behind her organically because she's been built up to this spot for the last really year.
And it gave a chance for some physicality without them having physicality by the
Yep.
the right hand shot to Dom's face. So
That was pretty good. Dom made it too, so I like it. I like it. But we got that pull apart brawl. We got the security guards, but there was so much substance because they laid the foundation. They didn't put the poster out there and work backwards. They started at first base and they fucking ran around all the bases instead of starting at third and think they hit a triple. So there's a lot of substance here. But Rocco, unfortunately, I think this is the first match out of perhaps three, and we're at that time. Who do you got?
I like the story of Rhea dominating, and then maybe this is a new chapter for Rhea. That's what I'm thinking. I think things are gonna happen. I think her alliances with the Judgment Day are gonna happen. I'm thinking that maybe this feud, maybe not this match. I think she's going to win this match, but I think this feud is going to drastically alter her trajectory as a character. I think the Judgment Day is going to fall aside. I don't know if she's going totally good guy, bad guy, but there's so many. That's what I was saying before. There's so many ways that it could go, where there could be respect given from one side and not the other, mutual respect at the end of this match. And we'll talk about this later when we think where this match should be on the card. But I'm going Rhea, like you said, she hasn't had the big. She had that since Mania, where she's one of the best match on the card. Just about the in between has not had the super classic, and I think this is going to be the super classic. And I think she's coming out on top.
We're in a tough spot, really, because if you think about it, Gunther has this long legacy run. Triple H loves these long reigns, right? Roman's reigns, of course, untouchable. Is there a chance that he ends two of them at WrestleMania? I don't see him ending three of them. I think Cody is going to win. Let's say it that way. So I think that either this Intercontinental title reign is going to end, or I think that this reign right here could end. And it's just like you said, it's a pivot point for Rhea's character, but perhaps she needs to focus on herself coming out of this. And then this is where she splits away from the Judgment Day or breaks the Judgment Day, or there's definitely a pivot outside of Rhea Ripley as the Judgment Day leader.
And I think like the draft is usually in June, right? So I think it's a way to you
Yeah,
move
May, June.
Becky, you get Becky away. Becky goes to SmackDown. I think would be really cool. separate them. Becky has a whole new thing that going on there, and like I think that would be a really cool way to deal with not having to have them have to coexist too much after this, unless because I don't know. I really think that stuff is going to happen in this match. It's going to be really interesting to watch, personality wise.
So I'm gonna go outside the box here, and I'm gonna go Becky Lynch wins in a shocker.
Okay. It's
All
a
right,
cool
Rocco.
story. It's just as cool
Yeah,
of a
it's
story
a very
too.
cool story. It's the culmination of her year story, and then it's a pivot point for Rhea. And Rhea, we can redo it at SummerSlam, and then we can have the big stipulation blow off wherever, or we can have the stipulation blow off at SummerSlam, and then wherever. And there's plenty of pay-per-views where we can keep this going. But all right, so we're split. I'm glad we're split. Out of 10, how excited are you for this match?
Now, this is a 10. This is the number one match I'm looking forward to on the card. I mean, Bailey and EO 2 is going to be a really fun match to watch, but this is just this has the story, the build, backs, just such nuances to it, and so many cool ways to go, and how the match can play out. So yeah, I'm topped out on this one, man.
I'm very invested I'm more invested in this one than the EO one. I think the EO one could be fantastic.
I'm thinking, yeah, that's why I'm not as
character wise.
Yeah,
character wise, I just care, more about these two. All right, Rocco, what night? 1, 2, where on the card? What you can tell us where you think, but
night one main eventing is where it should be. Instead of geriatric fucking 4 men. Once again, this is where I come at and I have issues with is like optically and all this stuff. And the main event, the tag team match does not need to happen. To me, it's just such a waste of time. It just was such a waste. Well, at this moment, you have Rhea, 27 years old. She's the youngest main eventer on this roster. They don't even have a main eventer that's under 30 besides her on this whole. This is a very old roster. I don't think people talk about that enough, is how old these motherfuckers are. The main event is 3 40-year-olds and a 50-year-old in it on night one. That is too old. Like, she is young and she has so much history to build. And the idea of her main eventing a night one with a victory, to me, optically would be so cool to have her just standing there, 27 years old, standing on top, highlighting. Just that image to me would be so cool. And I think it's such a missed opportunity that they're just fuckfesting this tag match, that Teddy Long tag match, that I don't think has any meaning. Like, right? It's just so thrown together. It makes the Drew match seem less important. It makes the main event on night 2 seem less important. Rock could have just been there. He didn't have to be in some match. And I think that kicking these guys out of having that slot, and I'm not saying it's because they're women and they should have it. I'm saying because it's Becky's story is the story they want to be telling with Cody. It's Becky coming this year. Like, it's literally the same story, but without the dumb hiccups that The Rock caused in it. So like Becky, just like you said, having that year last year, and it's like building herself and building herself and building herself through attrition, which is kind of what they were trying to do with Cody and Brock in the beginning of the year, right? Like proving himself again, because he came in at 30 and then he wins the Rumble and an earlier number. Like, it's kind of the same story they wanted to tell with him, but they've done it so much better with Becky. So to me, that's why it's got the better story than night 1 and night 2 currently. So I would do night 1 main event. Where is it going to be? I'm assuming night 1, probably maybe 9 o'clock-ish, halfway through the show. Do
third
that
third or fourth on the card. Okay.
Yeah, like do that big main event like halfway through. But like, to me, it is really undervaluing how good both these women are and how cool this story is to not have it be the top story.
I understand your sentiment. I still go with the Rock. I don't know. It's just more marquee, and it flows a little better.
They don't need the marquee. It's sold out. As many people are going to watch are going to watch. You don't need this match that essentially is the one team can't cheat, and the other, like, it's like, well, they're going to cheat anyway. It's a Roman Reigns match. Like they just expect fucking Jacob Fatu to run it. Just a fight for a stipulation. It seems so boring compared to this story that we just talked about for 20 minutes and how cool it is,
I understand it's cool, but I would present it right off the bat at WrestleMania Night 1.
That is a good call too. I do like that idea.
This is your opener. Becky can't wait any longer to get at her for WrestleMania. The stage is the biggest when you open, potentially, and just go out there again and have Rhea Ripley go out there again and prove why she is the best, and just have them crush it.
I think I think that is the sign that would be a sign of the respect that I'm me saying 9 o'clock is thinking and it's being disrespected. If they do put them first, I think that is like because then you have full carte blanche, like you said, the crowd is hot, it's the big fucking night, and there's not they could go long, they can do whatever the fuck they want because everyone else could have to and that's the idea. Follow this is such a great
Yep, exactly.
motivator in anything, in any sport, in music. When I play shows, I'm like, follow that bitch. Like do like and you kill it, and then everyone else that sets the template. You know what I mean? And then at the end of the night, you go, yeah, we should have been the main event. And that's the best motivator there is, right? Which is
Yep.
pretty much Becky's whole character's motivation too, is showing I am the best.
All right, Rocco, where can we find you going on and tell people to follow that?
Oh, you can find me on the Chronoso every month. And other than that, you can find me my band, Chained to the Dead. It's on my little picture, my little caption on the bottom there on iTunes and all your um streaming music places and YouTube and all that stuff. So
Awesome. All right, Rocco. Well, that was fun. I think we did these women justice. And I'm really looking forward to this match, buddy.
hell yeah, man, it's gonna be great.
All right. See you on the next one, pal.
Take care.